Hi everyone, my name is Beth Hundy and I'm teaching Environmental Change 3350. I am an environmental change scientist who specializes in paleolimnology, which means that I use fossils and signals in lake sediments to understand past environmental changes. I'm looking forward to learning more about your interests as well, and I'm just making this short video so that you can watch and rewatch to get an idea about how the course is going to run. There are three things I'm going to cover in this video: course logistics, the course schedule, and assessments for this course. All right, there are two syllabi for the course. I'm going to focus on this graphic syllabus, although I will note that there is another syllabus that you can look at as well and that you ought to look at that has all of the policies, the deadlines, the action items, the readings, and so on listed. So here you can see the 6 assignments that make up the evaluation of the course: lab, presentation, a communication project, a research project, a take-home exam, and participation. I'm going to go into each of those a little bit more shortly. But what I did want to draw your attention to is the general overview of what we will be focusing on in the course. So we're going to start with why study environmental change in the first place, and then dive into some essential climate background that you need to be able to understand the climate system for the duration of the course. We're going to talk about methods of environmental change for almost a month because this is really critical to understanding how scientists know about more recent climate change, but also climate change in more distant history. Then we're going to move right into recent warming and the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and some climate negotiation simulations before we go back to talking about past environments and civilizations and how humans have interacted with climate in the past. Finally, there's an in-class conference where you're going to showcase your work and a take-home exam. Now, below the dates on this schedule, you'll see a number of colored bars. Those match with the assessments and show you kind of how long you should be spending working on each of the several assignments that there are in the class. There are learning outcomes summarized on the right side, and it's worth looking at the full version of these on the syllabus to make sure that the goals that you're setting make sense for the outcomes of the course and to make sure that you're monitoring your own progress on these outcomes. And finally, the classroom space that we're using is the Western Active Learning Space. And the reason is that they really facilitate collaboration. You'll get to know this classroom pretty well, but it allows you to check your understanding against others, to work together in groups quite easily. And the reason that we use this classroom is because active learning really helps you to grapple with concepts and check your understanding against others. Research again and again and again from education and every discipline has shown that active learning results in greater gains in learning than in note-taking and passive listening to the lecture alone. Participation is worth 15%, and there are lots of ways to get involved in this class, as you'll soon see. So some of it is large and small group discussion, but a lot of it is in different formats as well, like writing and reflection and so on. There will be some goal setting that's going to happen at the beginning of the course, and then 2 self-assessments as well as some other guided reflections that will help you figure out where you're at with participation. You can also contribute to your participation grade by taking on some of the planning work that's involved in our in-class conference. So how does this work? So each student is going to set goals for themselves for the course. So it might be related to growth, it might be related to collaboration, it might be related to a specific grade point that you want to achieve. You will be asked to self-assess how you are doing on these different components and on participation in general. And you will also be asked to assess each other based on group work and by peer assessing the editors for your blogs. Now at 2 points in the course, you'll be asked to share your self-assessments with the instructor, that's me, and I have my own set of notes, attendance, reflection records, and so on, and I can make sure that we're on the same page regarding participation and make adjustments as necessary. So one of the first assignments that you'll work on is the lab assignment worth 10%. So some class time is allocated to working on this assignment. There are 2 lab periods devoted to it.
and it will require graphing and interpretation of time series data. Now, I will point out that one of the biggest pitfalls we see with the lab assignment is that students dismiss Excel as something that they already know enough about. There are always more things that you can learn about Excel, so don't take lightly the fact that you can get TA help in that lab assignment. So worth 10% is a presentation, or you can even think about teaching about techniques of environmental change. So in groups, you're going to teach your peers about a method used in the study of environmental change or climate science, and you'll also be asked to include summary or teaching materials for your classmates.
So the science communication project for this year is one of two options. The first is a UN science brief, which involves writing a science brief for a political science student, so students in a partner class in Western's political science program. Those students are entering climate negotiations for a particular country, so your job would be to write a short document that gives them the state of science for their particular region of the world. The second possibility is writing a blog article that communicates a peer-reviewed scientific journal article to a general news reading audience. There will be some peer work involved with this. It will be different depending on what option you choose, but we'll talk more about that in class. But either way, we're really going to have to consider what characteristics does writing for each of these intended audiences have. So the projects this year, you'll choose a topic of interest relating to environmental change. I can help you choose that topic. And then you're going to narrow down that topic and decide how you will present it. And there's going to be various options for how you'll present it. It really depends on what your goals are, like what you want to be able to showcase that you can do. You will then research the topic using academic sources and write a topic statement and annotated bibliography and abstract, and then showcase your project and take questions from classmates and others.
So just a few notes about success in this class. So there is a textbook for this course. It's Earth's Climate, Past and Future, the 3rd edition by William Rudiman. And like many other university textbooks, there's far more covered here than can be covered in the course, but the explanations for the concepts that we do cover are really helpful. So I do recommend it. We have had students in the past that have opted not to purchase it and have done fine in the course. That's why it's strongly recommended but not a required textbook for the course. If you want to check it out but you aren't wanting to commit to buying it yet, you can check out the copy in the library as well. The PowerPoint slides are posted, but they are not a complete set of notes, so be prepared to take notes in class.
If you have any questions about the content of this video, other than how did I paint the walls and grow my hair 2 inches between the last clip and this one, I'm happy to answer those questions. You can also post them to the Piazza site, which I will talk about more in class and let you know how that works. And otherwise, I will see you in class.